everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're so excited today to bring you another interview of our favorite Hallmark talent. And we're so lucky today to have actress Laura Miyata on the podcast. And I'm Rachel. And thank you so much, Laura, for coming on and talking with us.
For sure. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. So what we like to do with our podcast is just ask our guests to introduce yourself and tell us what inspired you to become an actress.
Well, I'm Laura Miyata. I'm an actress from Toronto, Canada. And I grew up, my parents were amazing. I did so many extracurriculars. I grew up doing dance lessons and singing lessons. And I always loved putting on shows for my parents in the basement or the backyard. As a family, we'd go to see so many musicals. And we just grew up watching Rodgers and Hammerstein movies at Christmas. And so I feel like the performance was always something that I was drawn to. And in high school, my high school had a really good musical program and I had a really good musical theater program. So I auditioned for one of the shows and the head of the department came to me and was like, "We really like you for Eliza for My Fair Lady." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And they were like, "We want you to be her understudy." And I was like, oh okay. He was like, you're an okay singer. And so I was like, immediately humbled
Right.
Because I thought I was this fantastic singer. And he's like, "But you're a really great actress and you've really got this accent. And we really think you and the girl that is going to be the lead could work really well together and you could learn from each other." And I was like, okay. So I didn't really think that was a strength because I'd done community theater and I just loved the singing and the dancing. And yet this man was like, "We think that you're a great actress." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess acting is part of musical theater. So okay, I'll embrace that and we'll go with it." And I realized that is the part that I love the most. I love stories and storytelling, and acting is a really great way to do that. So I guess that was what I found in high school. And then I'm half Japanese and Ukrainian, English, and French. And when I told my dad that I wanted to study theater, he was like, "Okay, well, which college are you going to study theater at?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to." And so that was a bit of a conversation. But I did find I did find a really great program that I got to do a diploma and a degree at the same time and study acting, like practical acting, but also like the history of acting and language and stuff like that. In Mississauga, which is just outside of Toronto, the University of Toronto. They had a Mississauga campus. So I did both of those. And so it's always been one of those things that I've been driven by. And, when you think that you're going to do one thing and then another thing, and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, how do I pursue this?" And yeah, it's just been something that I don't know that one moment specifically inspired me, but a lot of moments brought me to where I am now. Yeah.
Very cool. So did you ever get to perform as the understudy or?
I did. Part of that sort of offer was that I got to do one show. Okay. So I understudied the other 4 shows and I got to do one show. So my friends and family came to that one show and it was great though. I love Audrey Hepburn. I love that movie. I love the musical. It was just so fun.
Yeah. That's really fun. There's nothing like high school theater. I was in high school theater myself. We did we did The Wiz and Bye Bye Birdie and Oklahoma and then Little Abner. And so yeah, it was so much fun. The best.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so fun to just after school work on something with your friends, and you have just this really wonderful community who you don't feel judged by because you're all in it together. You're all working towards this project, and it's really special for sure.
That's why I think a show like Bye Bye Birdie is so great, and I think My Fair Lady would actually be really good as well, because I think that for high school theater they should have shows that have big choruses and as many people can participate as want to participate, because same thing with The Wiz. You have all the Munchkins and you've got all the Flying Monkeys and you have the Citizens of Oz. There's so many places where you can put in people. And so, because I just think everybody should basically be able to participate. I mean, my sister, her school did Into the Woods, and as great of a show as that is, it's really,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it has such a small cast.
It's like a main six or main.
Yeah. And so I don't think it's as fun for high school to do as something like, maybe it's not as great, Bye Bye Birdie, but it's got tons of group scenes. So that's my theory on high school theater.
No, that's a good point. The year after that, we did Little Shop of Horrors, which there's tons of, like, there's the what are they called, the girls, the Skid Row girls. So all of us were like this chorus of Skid. There's obviously the main story, but yeah, we just got to be the girls in the chorus. And then our last year we did Sound of Music, which was great because there's a lot of leads, but there's like tons of children and nuns, and so that was fun too.
The weird part about, I think it's a little jarring about Sound of Music is just that I think it's one of the few musicals that I think the movie is a lot better than the stage musical.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes, we did do a few tweaks because there were some songs that are part of the musical that were really lovely, but I don't know. We just, I
got
agree
rid of them. Because
we did get rid of one of them.
Oh, smart. Because
and we added the 16 Around 17 because I love that song and it's not in the musical.
Yeah, the two songs sung by Elsa and Max, not great. They're not great, and they make their characters way more unlikable than in the movie. They're a lot more scheming, and
I feel like we kept one of them because we wanted them to have that moment.
Yeah.
But I agree. And you can't, I mean, it was so fun to do, but you cannot top Julie Andrews.
No.
And, and Christopher. So we tried our best, and it was really fun. And
that's really cool. I love theater, and it's just such a fun experience. But was it interesting transitioning since you had your schooling in theater? You had, things. Was it interesting transitioning to television work?
Yeah, I did theater right out of theater school, and that's how I got one of my agents. And she does a lot of film and television, which was great. But I just felt like it was new all over again because it's so different. You don't have to speak as loudly. I'd often be told in auditions, like, it's okay, like, you can talk normally. And I was like, oh. But when I went back to theater, it was like, we can't hear you in the back. And it was just that knowledge of the different mediums and how you don't have to do as much because it's not that the audience is, 100 feet away from you. They are right in your face.
You're like calming down on the diaphragm breathing.
Totally. And something as simple as knowing where your light is. In theater, you hit this general mark, and as long as you feel the light, you're good. But in film, if I just lean like a little bit to the left, half my face might be in a shadow.
Right.
And so it took me a while to become aware of that and to make those adjustments as I'm working without having to have the, we'll call cut and, scene, take two, like, Laura, can you just make sure you lean to your right because you lean to your left. And so, and that was an adjustment for me, but it was a really cool way to learn was by doing it. Because I know that in a lot of on-camera classes, you work on just the technique of acting on camera and how you don't have to do as much, but you can't set up an entire crew for an acting class. So working and learning at the same time as it's a steep learning curve, but you learn so much so quickly. It's so fascinating. I feel like I'm still learning tons of stuff.
Yeah, well, we all are. Still figuring this out. I'm still figuring out a podcast, but you get better as you go. So you had your first role in Degrassi, is that correct? On television?
Is that my first job? My
According
first job.
It is.
I think I may have shot. Yeah, no, I think that was probably my first one. And what was funny about that was that I'd watched the initial. I don't know if you ever watched the initial one growing up. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so it was funny to see like Snake was still in it. And some of the characters were like teachers and parents and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. Sorry, what were you going to ask?
No, I was just, were you super nervous? Like coming in your first role? I
was so nervous. I showed up and somebody was like, oh my gosh, we have to do something different with your hair and give you a headband because this girl named Nina Dobrev is on the show and you look kind of like her and we don't want people to get confused. And I was like, what? Like I didn't think that could be an issue either. And I guess I got home and I researched her and I was like, oh my gosh, do you think I look like her? That's like the biggest compliment of life. Like that's amazing. But yeah, I showed up, and because they have a permanent set, it was very comfortable. There was I had a scene with Maddie, and I had a scene, I forget what his name was, but they were so nice. They were really down to earth. And I felt really comfortable, and the crew knew what they were doing because they've been doing it for so long. And yeah, I just felt really welcomed, which was a nice feeling.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so you have this thing that you do or you're just starting up, this Real Chicks Flicks, these posters that you do where you replace the iconic posters and you have them with women instead of with men. And I really thought they were fun, the ones you've done. I hope you're going to keep doing them. And what was your sort of inspiration behind that project? And I don't know, how did you feel about, I guess, how they turned out and that whole thing?
Yeah, thank you. I was really excited about that project. I was sitting around with a girlfriend. We were having frozen yogurt somewhere, and we were talking about social media. And I want to be a part of social media in a way that is authentic and start conversations. And I don't always know how to do that. And we were talking about ways that we could do that. And she is a stylist, and I'm an actress, obviously. And we were like, how can we work on something together? And I was like, I don't know, maybe we could take photos of us doing fun things, or what if we took photos of like inspired by our favorite movies? And that kind of got me thinking. And she was like, okay, well, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't know, like what if we, Ferris Bueller? Like, what if I dressed like Ferris Bueller and like lean up against, I don't know, something, and we take a picture? Or what would modern day Ferris Bueller look like? And she was kind of into it. And I don't know, we finished our yogurt and went for a walk and went home. And I got home and I was thinking about it, and there was something to it that I got really excited about. I didn't know what that was. So I Googled, best movie posters or best movies of all time, and looked at a million movie posters. And as I was looking at them, some of them were so fun. And I was writing this one down and this one down. And I was like, who would I be in this one? Like these are, Caucasian men that are usually around 30 or so. And how do I fit into that? And when you think about, and then I started thinking about how we consume images as a culture, and things like Tinder or Netflix, you're encouraged to look at an image and, scroll through one. And when you select a certain one, you're choosing how you're going to spend your time based on that image. And there was something really interesting about that, because I just looked at like 100 movie posters, and which one was I going to watch, and what are they saying about the movie? And you're telling a story in a picture, or you're trying to engage somebody about a story in a picture. And I was just thinking, wow, a lot of stories are written about, they're not necessarily appealing to Caucasian men, but they feature Caucasian men primarily. And then I went back and looked at those posters, and I was like, okay, where are the women in these posters? And they were usually very small in sort of the background, or very in the foreground, but scantily dressed. And I was like, what is this saying about the movie, or what's it saying about what it thinks people will come and watch, regardless of if that's the story that they're telling? And I thought, okay, well, how would we do this as a poster? Because there are so many cool movies that have roles that I think that, it would be so cool to see a woman play this role. And I thought, what if we took these iconic movie posters and replaced them with women, with a focus on diversity? Because, being half Japanese, I grew up really not seeing myself in the movies I love and would watch. And the closest thing to seeing myself was seeing a Latina woman. So I grew up thinking like, I must look like Salma Hayek. I must look like these women, because I'm not fully Asian, but I'm not fully Caucasian. So I didn't really know how I fit. And I just thought, wouldn't it be great to show pictures of what I feel like the world is looking more like today? And I started just brainstorming about, I just called it like the photo project, and what we would do and who I would source. And the whole idea was to challenge maybe not the conscious bias, but the subconscious bias of the viewer while advocating for females in lead roles. And what would that look like? And how would people react based on the photo? Would they have a really positive reaction, or would they be like, this is a piece of garbage, I would never watch this, even though I'm familiar with the story and what this I don't know, something about that was interesting, just instead of engaging people with words, to challenge them with that photo.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. How do you feel about sort of the gender swap movies that we've gotten? Do you feel like it's been successful, or I mean, because we've gotten now quite a few where they've tried this, and we're gonna get some more. Do you have any feelings kind of about like whether it's Ghostbusters or Ocean's 8,
I see what you mean.
or
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance to see any of them.
I saw Ghostbusters. I haven't seen Ocean's 8 yet, but I still would like to, in spite of sort of the quote unquote critical reviews. I think it's hard for any movie to recreate itself at any time. Something like Ghostbusters and the Ocean series, they're so iconic, and they were created in a specific time with a specific group of people, that to kind of copycat that is very difficult. Even with TV, like doing a new Lethal Weapon series, doing a new Magnum PI series, it's very hard to achieve the same thing that it was when it was brand new and it was an entirely new idea. So, I mean, I want to support those movies, but they're kind of I feel like they're working against themselves, because they're saying, compare me to this original thing that you've already grown to know and love. Because sequels are always hard, regardless of how you make a sequel. So I feel like it's not really judged as fairly, these gender swaps. I think it's great that people are doing them and experimenting with them and giving women the opportunity to play these roles. But I think how we interpret how they've been received isn't as fair as if we were to create a modern day, our own origin story of this group of women who fight whatever, and how that would look. Because then it would be its own thing that you could compare to a Ghostbusters kind of movie or an Ocean's kind of movie.
That's
like the way that Bridesmaids. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I agree with you. I mean, that's when people are like, oh, should we have a Jane Bond instead of James Bond? Like, I don't know. Why not you could even have her in that universe, but why not have her be a different number agent? Why not make her own thing, her own, I don't know. It just seems like you're just asking for people to compare and to, I don't know, just make her own, like, own thing. I mean, I didn't hate Ghostbusters. I thought it was a fine, disposable, blockbuster. I was entertained by it. I had enough laughs for me to enjoy. But because I kind of think the original is overrated, to be perfectly honest. It's fine, but I don't think it's one of the greatest comedies ever made, like some people do.
Right.
But anyway, and I was admittedly disappointed by Ocean's 8. Once the heist gets going, then it's quite enjoyable. But I found the preamble to it very slow and just not. I didn't think it used its cast as well as I was hoping, because I loved the trailers. I was very hyped for it.
Yeah.
And so you might actually enjoy it more than me, because now you're kind of going in with sort of low expectations. That might actually help you. But I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And it wasn't great, but it wasn't like awful. I just was like, it just took so long for I thought to get going. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I'm really, really hopeful for the new Men in Black movie, because I think it looks great, and it's kind of I feel like it's sort of an interesting in between of ideas, because it's just Tessa Thompson, and we already know that Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth are going to have amazing chemistry because they were so Thor Ragnarok, and so I feel like it's an interesting. It's just a swap out one of the characters, not every character, but it's a swap out that I think makes sense. And I think would be really fun. And so I don't know. That one I think could be a very I'm very hopeful for it.
Yeah.
Because it's also a franchise that the last two movies were not great. So it's not like what are they gonna do? It's gonna be worse than those? It's not like some hollowed franchise that people, I don't think, that people like some sacred franchise. You know what I mean? I think that'll help it too.
No, I know. I like what you said about the Bond series, because what I loved about doing the Bond posters was
Yeah,
that I think a girl could be a secret agent. I
right.
don't know that you would need a secret agent to be the girl version of Bond, because she would do it so differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be an interesting way to do it, to have her be like, I don't know, 008 or
Yeah.
005 or whatever. And it's still in that vein, like you said, but she
Yeah.
gets to claim her own identity and establish her own characters based on the parameters that we understand that 007 has to work under.
Yeah. Because I don't think that Hollywood has quite figured out, aside from maybe Mad Max Fury Road, I don't feel like they have really figured out how to use women effectively in action yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some attempts, but they haven't, like something like Atomic Blonde that just didn't quite work. I feel like they don't quite know how to sort of use the unique I don't know, unique aspects of being a woman in today's
Mm-hmm.
society, and how to make them not just be a man kind of pretending to be a man, like to use it sort of effectively. I don't think we've quite gotten there, and we've gotten close in certain, like, with like Rey in Star Wars or some other things, but
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know, it's just not quite there yet. And so I think that's sort of the
Yeah.
big hurdle to kind of overcome. There was Tomb Raider this last year that I think
Mm-hmm.
tried, and I didn't think it was as bad as other people did. I thought it had some good things
Mm-hmm.
about it. But I don't know, we're just not quite there yet, but I'm looking forward to, I mean, Wonder Woman was great, so I guess there's that. But
That was, yeah.
yeah, so I don't know, that it's an interesting thing, and I encourage you to keep promoting them, keep making them, because I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really fun.
Oh, thank
So
you. I'm so
it's
glad.
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a
Yeah,
few others if I can get the people and the
yeah.
resources together. That'd be great.
What is also really cool is we have women in these non-traditional roles in movies more and more, which is exciting. But I'm also excited to see sort of resurgence of traditional femininity as well, because there's no
Mm-hmm.
reason why you have to do, well, just one or the other. Like, both are good. And
Mm-hmm.
so it makes me really happy that we had something like Crazy Rich Asians this year, which traditional romantic comedy executed so well, and it had been
Yeah.
so long since we had something like that in the theaters. Like,
Yeah, like a
that's part of the,
lovely rom-com.
yeah, is part of the reason why I started watching Hallmark, was because there was no romantic comedies in the theater.
Mm, yeah.
And so I was like, well, I better start watching Hallmark more regularly. And then we ended up doing the
Oh,
podcast.
it is full of romance for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I'm happy to see sort of both happening, and more, because there's so much entertainment out there for men. There's not as much
Yeah.
entertainment out for women, and so hopefully that's changing. But anyway, so yes, so your first role for Hallmark was in I'll Be Home for Christmas, I believe.
Hmm.
So that was directed by James Brolin. He seems like a funny guy, nice guy. Was that fun to work with him?
Yeah, he was lovely. The funny thing was, I auditioned for the project, and it was under a different name. And I usually look at the directors and the producers, and under director it said Jim Brolin. And I was like, how in the entertainment industry, if your name is close to somebody else's name, you have to change it. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know who Jim Brolin is, but that's okay. This is a lovely, fun script, and I don't know who's playing who, but this would be a really fun role play. And I get the job. I'm super excited. I get the call sheet, and it says director James Brolin, and I almost lost. I was like, okay.
Like
Okay, so
Mr. Barbara Streisand?
this is,
Yeah.
and he goes by Jim. Okay, so,
Okay.
okay, be cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was really excited, and he's a lovely director. Being an actor, the way he'll approach a scene, he'll be like, what do you feel about this? And do you want to try when you're saying this? What if we just do it like the two of you sitting side? And I got to work with Mina Savari, which was amazing. She's really lovely, and she's really fun. And our first day was an entire day of just scenes with her and I. And it was the first day of the shoot. So it was a really lovely introduction to the project. And it was just her and I sitting next to each other, and we were talking about her mom, and talking about her, like, our characters. We're talking together about these moments. And it was I felt like I was so trusted with this, because of the way he directed us and the way that we were able to work together. It just felt effortless, and it was just a really beautiful feeling. Yeah.
Good.
Because I wasn't sure what to expect with two people of such reputation in Hollywood. You know, and so to walk in and feel like you're a peer and that you're just very comfortable. It was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one in a long time. So you had some, were you like her best friend, or what was your role?
I was, yeah, her best friend.
Yeah. Cool. That's good. That's great. That's a good way to start. And then you were in Love on Ice. What was your role in that one?
I played Julie Berman's best friend. She used to be an Olympic skater who's making a big comeback, and I play her best friend.
So did you get to work with Andrew Walker?
I did. Yeah, we had a few scenes together. In the scene where we all surprised her as the fundraiser, we came up with like a little secret handshake, and I think it made it in. You can only see the tail end of it, but he was really lovely too. Yeah. He's from Toronto originally, and then I think he lives in LA. Yeah.
Is he as handsome in real life as he is on television?
He is quite handsome. Okay. I heard a lot of the episodes talking about him. So
yeah, I'm sure. No, he's a delight. We got to interview him this last summer, and he was the best. So
he's super cool.
And then you got to be on The Good Witch.
I did
this last year, which is very exciting. We love The Good Witch.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Huge fans. And so you were on an episode where she's hunting down the wedding dress.
Yes.
Right. So were you one of the previous owners of the dress, or what was your?
I did. I had, so the dress that Cassie was looking for, I guess I had worn it. It was given to me and I had worn it on my wedding, and then my husband's cousin asked for it or something. And the story is that we didn't have a lot of money. So as a gift, I gave her the dress. And so then Cassie has to hunt her down and find her and find what had happened to her and what she did with the dress, which was fun.
Yeah. We don't get to interview that many people that have done Good Witch, because we tend to interview more people from the Vancouver side of things versus the Toronto side of things. And so it's kind of fun. I've heard I can imagine it's a pretty fun set to be a part of.
Oh, yeah. Catherine was really lovely to work with. And it was in Hamilton, which is just outside of Toronto. So it was pretty close. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, we've gotten to interview Catherine Disher 3 times. We love her. And I would love to interview Catherine Bell, because she's the best. But
nice.
yeah. So that's really cool. And okay, so then you were in the Northern Lights of Christmas?
That one was so fun. I got to work with Ashley Williams, who was just so lovely. Like, she's as lovely as she appears to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is such a delight. Yeah.
That's cool. I really like that one. It took me a little bit to get into it, because I felt like the lead guy was just such a pill, for like unreasonably so at the beginning. And I'm like, her like, of course he's going to be against her selling the ranch, but like, it was given as such a lovely gesture for her to be able to get her plane. And you think he could kind of understand that, but he was like pouting like a baby. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? So it took me a while to kind of warm up to him. And then I think once they had they had that tree lighting outside of the, that I was kind of like, that was magic. That was great. And then the whole thing with the reindeer was adorable.
I know, right?
Cute. What's going on?
Oh my God.
The only thing they totally missed out on is that those reindeer should have been owned by Santa. It's Alaska.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. Right? It would have been perfect.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Just like it wouldn't have to say necessarily Santa, but it could be like a whimsical guy with like a long beard, and be like, wink, wink, yeah. That would have made
a little acknowledgement to.
Yeah. That would have made it even better, but it was so cute. And I also loved the closing of that movie, and the final kiss I thought was great.
Right?
Yeah, it was so good. It was good. And and she was just so delightful that it won me over, the movie, because I was like, I don't know, I'm irritated,
Okay.
but then it won me over, and I quite enjoyed it. So
Yeah, she's lovely. Like when she is decorating the tree and sings those Christmas carols to him,
yeah,
I was laughing so hard and I remember being there on the day, and she would do like a different way every time, and we were all just like stifling our laughter.
Yeah,
because she's so funny.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, where was that filmed? Was that
That one was filmed in North Bay, in just north of Toronto, like 4 hours north of Toronto.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. So is that where do you live in Toronto?
I do live in Toronto. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very good. Okay. Then you had just recently, where I saw it really, you made an impression on me, was in this Winter Love Story, this last Winterfest movie. And you were the publicist, Piper, I believe was your name.
Piper.
Yes.
Piper.
And I really enjoyed your character in this. I thought you were really bubbly, and I liked your chemistry with his. Yeah, it was her best friend, actually. It was the coffee shop.
Do you know what? Joanna Douglas and I actually went to theater school together, so we got to work together again, and it was so wonderful.
Yeah.
It was like, it just made my heart so happy to work with her and be reunited with her.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense now, because I just thought this has a little bit of chemistry here. I kind of made a joke on Twitter. I was like, if this wasn't Hallmark, these two could be a couple. They're really cute.
Well, I love her so dearly, so that makes total sense.
Yeah, these BFFs. Let's talk about that.
Oh, that's so
yeah. I thought you brought a lot of sparkle and pop to the role, and so what was that like? It's had to have been a fun one to work on.
Well, thank you. It was so fun. I love Piper. She's one of the favorite people I think I've played, and she's one of my favorite. I think not my favorite. Well, no, it's definitely the wardrobe on that show for Piper was so fun. Everything that I wore, I was like, this is so Piper and I love it. This is so Piper and I love it. So that really helped too, I think. No, it was so fun. She's there for everything, and she gets to see it unfold, and she sees glimpses of things that she doesn't want to make assumptions about, but I think she sees it before Cassie's willing to acknowledge it. And it's definitely a super fun role.
Yeah, it was really cute. Yeah, like there were moments where you could tell you were kind of being like, oh my gosh, girl, get with it. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on? Yeah, that was really fun. I mean, I love Jen Lilly. She's a delight. And just in her movies, but also we've gotten to interview her twice, and she's
nice. Okay.
Amazing. Like, she's such a good person. And and Kevin McGarry, oh my gosh, he is so dreamy. I was
gonna say, that sounds like a heart throbbing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I tweeted it out. I'm like, it's almost distracting to the whole story of the movie, because he's so handsome. I just can't. Like, it's just something else. And he was in 2 Winterfest movies, which is very unusual for them to double up on an actor in 1 month like that. But I think Winter Love Story is I would say slightly better. I like it slightly better than the Winter Castle, but I enjoyed both. But yeah, I'm sure that he's as charming in real life as he is in his characters.
He is. He's so lovely, and he's so kind. Yeah, I got to know him quite well.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're saying some of the extras were sort of Twitter-pated with Kevin McGarry.
Oh yeah, they loved Kevin McGarry. Yeah, sure. And that scene where he shows up at the end, everybody was encouraged because it's Elliot Summersby. The background had been given direction to like pull your phones out, and then the director's like, but don't actually take pictures as much as you want a picture of Kevin McGarry on your phone. Please don't actually record it. I'm not sure if any of them did it secretly, but
just turn off the flash. Click, click. That's funny. Yeah, I just, his eyes are so blue. I've never seen him has such blue eyes. It's amazing.
That would tell him you said so.
Yes, please do. Tell him to come on the podcast. Yeah, he's great, and we're really excited to see him come on When Calls the Heart. I think it's going to be very fun. I really liked that ending scene. It reminded me a lot of the whole movie. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Notting Hill, just slightly, with sort of the famous person and the less kind of more normal person, whatever, but especially that ending scene with the whole news conference and he's raises his hand, and just like the ending of Notting Hill. And I almost expected him to say the readers of Horse and Hound will be glad to hear it. I thought that
I'm just a boy standing in front of a girl asking her to love him back.
That's right. I guess it would be kind of switched from Notting Hill. But I thought that ending was really good, and it was really fun. And so, that was great. You all did a very good job. Do you have any up and coming projects that you're excited about, or?
No, I have nothing up and coming just yet. That was kind of my before Christmas, when I took a break over Christmas, which was nice. And my body decided to get a nice illness, but I'm feeling a lot better and excited for the new year. So.
Oh, good. Well, we're excited to see what happens. Well, so we have some silly questions we like to end the interview off with. We call them the Teen Beat questions.
I love that you call them the Teen Beat questions.
Amber found them from a real issue of Teen Beat. That's why I call them.
Thank you, Amber. I'm so excited for this.
All right, here we go. So the first question.
Shoot. Okay, I'm so nervous. Okay.
You'll do amazing. Okay, first question. What is the best ice cream flavor?
Vanilla, because you can put anything you want on it, depending on how you feel.
It's a good call. You can't go wrong with.
I know, it's so plain, but I feel like I never eat just vanilla. So that's why it's my favorite. I can eat anything.
Would you rather have soft serve or a hard serve?
So like fresh out of the freezer, like rock hard. Gives your arm a cramp.
Yeah, that's good call. Okay. What is your favorite color?
Teal or aqua or turquoise, that in that vein of or navy. Like I'm big on blues, and I like mixing the darks and the lights. But teal, aqua.
Good choice. All right. What music are you listening to right now? Your favorite music?
I love boy bands so much, and so I have a lot of One Direction. I recently found old CDs of mine, so I have Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I put a little Aqua on my playlist.
Yeah, good. So you're
that girl.
You spread all over all the teams. You're not like Team NSYNC versus Team Backstreet Boys. You're just like them all.
No, I embrace them all. Hanson, Moffat, all the good ones.
Good.
One Direction,
yeah. Good. All right. So, what is your go-to date night food?
I'd like a nice steak.
Yeah.
But I'm also good with like pizza and nachos. So it depends on, tacos.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, steak is great because it's going to be classy, first of all. And second of all, it's just super, you're not going to get messy. It doesn't smell. You don't have to use your hands. It's just really a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good. All right. So then what is your go-to date night activity?
I like going to we used to live downtown for about 10 years. So we like going downtown to like find new spots that we never got to go visit our favorite old spots, just walk around the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
I also love going to the movies, so.
Yeah. But we have a theory on this podcast about going to the movies on a date. We think instead of doing dinner and a movie, you should always do movie and dinner, because then you have something to talk about at dinner.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And then you get to instead of in the car talking about it on the way home, you get to actually dive into why you like this, what your favorite scene was, what you disliked about that, why you were disappointed with this, why you were so excited about this. I agree. I love talking about movies. So that's a good one to do it in.
So it's a movement we're trying to start here. This is how it should be done.
Movie and dinner.
Movie and dinner. So, all right. What do you prefer, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. Do you have a dog?
I feel like you're very disappointed with that answer.
No. I bet most people pick dogs. I'm actually on team dogs myself over team cats, but Amber is on team cats.
Sorry, Amber.
So, all right, beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Okay. Then would you rather be in fancy dress or sweats?
Like on a regular day?
Or just whenever, which you think is sort of more fun? Do you look forward to like getting all dressed up, or did you dread it?
Oh, I definitely look forward to wearing like, what is it called? Active leisure wear.
Good.
That's what gets me the most excited.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so what is your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Very good. It's hard to beat Christmas. It really is.
I know. I was like, what other?
Especially in the world of Hallmark, it's really hard.
But what other? I guess okay. Yeah, there's other good holidays.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, the only one that I think is like comparable, I think maybe to Christmas is maybe birthday, because on your birthday it's all you, and you're getting presents like you do on Christmas.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it's not like a national I mean, if it was a national holiday, that would also be pretty amazing.
That's true.
Easter's good.
Yeah, Easter's pretty fun. Underrated candy holidays, Easter. It's such good candy. People always think of Halloween or Christmas.
Halloween is
candy.
Yeah.
But Christmas.
Halloween, dressing up in Halloween is fun. Yeah, no, Christmas. Yeah, that was my gut.
Yeah. It's good. All right. Last question. It's hard because you don't have Hallmark Channel in Canada. But what is your favorite Hallmark movie?
I feel like that's an impossible question.
And you can pick one you've been
in.
The
Fifth. Just kidding. Oh, man. See, I love all of the things I have been in for different reasons.
Yeah.
I feel like I would say Winter Love Story, and I'm not sure if that's because it's the most recent.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like I would say that because I worked the most days, so I got to know the cast and the crew. So the entire experience was so wonderful. Like, we went karaokeing together. Yeah. We get to go to work. Like, everything about that shoot was so enjoyable. And
that's a good one.
And that makes the movie fun for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Okay, good. Very good. Well, you passed the test.
Oh, thank goodness.
We'll keep letting you make Hallmark movies.
Okay, good. Oh.
Yeah, very good. So this has been so much fun. It's such a delight to talk with you, and we'll definitely have to have you on again. Let us know, how can people follow you online, social media, all that fun stuff.
Oh, thank you. It has been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. On Twitter, I am at Laura Miyata, LauraMiyata. On Instagram, I am at Miyata, spelled ELLEMIYATA. I have a Facebook page, Laura Miyata, and the poster project that we were talking about is called Real Chick Flicks, and it's at realchickflicks.com.
Great. Yeah. And make sure you guys, if you're listening, make sure you follow the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, all over social media. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews all over as well. So thanks again, Laura. This was really fun. And we'll have to talk again soon.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Okay. I would love that.
Bye.
Bye.